Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to NHL Draft Pros. On today's video, we're going to take a look at some of the options for the Toronto Maple Leafs first round pick in the 2024 NHL Draft. And before we proceed with the video, can you please subscribe and hit that like button to help the channel grow? I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you do, you'll be able to join our community where right now we have a mock draft ongoing. We're going to rank the top 32 prospects up until the draft date in June. So get on that and cast a vote. Okay, so the lottery has already taken place, and we know that the Toronto Maple Leafs are picking 23rd overall after they lost in the playoffs. Sorry about that, Leafs fans, but now you get an earlier pick. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the draft history of the last 3 years, who they drafted, and go through those players, and then discuss who they should take in this upcoming draft. So last year, we know that in the first round, 28th overall, they took Easton Cohen. What a pickup that was. He is a stud and has been on fire for the London Knights in the OHL this year. Cohen has showed some nice development in his game, posting 34 points in 18 games. And actually, the London Knights have checked off their place in the Memorial Cup starting this weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. All right, so now, the year before that, they had a second round pick, and they ended up with Fraser Minton. Now, I wouldn't say that Fraser Minton has as much upside as Easton Cohen, but he did put up some decent points this year in the WHL. He had 38 points in 36 games between Kamloops and Saskatoon. And actually, he got a taste for the NHL. He had 4 games that he played in the NHL. He didn't get any points, but still, you know what? It shows that he has a maturity in his game, that they trusted him to have a look at him at the NHL level. So that was nice to see for Fraser Minton for sure. Okay, so now we move on to 2021, and they had a second rounder at number 57, and he picked up Matthew Knies. What a pickup for the Leafs this was. And the University of Minnesota alumni had 42 points in 40 games when he played in the NCAA 2 seasons ago, and then this past season, playing for Toronto the entire season, he had 35 points in 80 games, 15 goals, 20 assists. Not too bad for sure. So some pretty good prospects in the pipeline already. Now, what do they do this season is the big question. So like I said, they have the 23rd overall. And I'm going to go through a few mocks that are online right now. So the first one is with Scott Wheeler at The Athletic. And he put that Toronto's going to pick up Igor Chernyshov out of Russia, 23rd overall. And so he says, there are a number of players I could imagine the Leafs group liking here. They're always dialed in on the OHL guys, and I could see them looking past Liam Greentree's disappointing U18 record. To be honest, I don't think Greentree is going to be here, but he says they've also shown a willingness to draft Russians. So here he's going to go with Igor Chernyshov. Now, Chernyshov had 28 points in 22 games in the MHL, the Russian Junior League this past season. And you know what? He's more of like a two-way, almost power forward-ish type Russian, and he's got some pretty sweet hands, as you can see in this clip right here. He's got some maneuverability, definitely. He's a great skater and a big kid, too. Listed at 6'2" and 190 plus pounds. So, you know what? I mean, we're going to talk about what I think, the Leafs should do. But let me know in the comment section if you think that some of these are good picks or who you think the Leafs should take with the 23rd overall pick. All right, now, Tankathon. Good old Tankathon. Lots of fun on this website. And they go with Tarek Parasak out of Prince George in the WHL. And now he had a great season. 105 points in 68 games. Look at that. 62 assists in 68 games. Very impressive from the youngster. And so, you know what? He's definitely got some offensive talent, some offensive upside. Now, there are other parts of his game that I don't know if they're going to translate well into the NHL. But if you're looking for some offensive upside, this is a potential pick at that 23 mark. I don't know if Toronto's going to go with that. I personally, I think that they're going to go D, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is what Tankathon has at 23 right now. Now, moving on, we got FC Hockey. Now, FC Hockey I used to write for, and they went with Henry Muse out of Ottawa, or the Ottawa 67s. And you know what? He is a gifted defenseman. Definitely has some offensive upside. He had 61 points in 65 games. He's a right shot D, 6 feet, 185 pounds. So a little bit on the smaller size, I'd say. Lately, the NHL, they're liking the big D, 6'2 plus kind of players. But look at this look at the maneuverability on Henry Muse. He's got some nice hands, and he's got some offensive upside. Like I said, when you get almost a point a game as a defenseman in your draft year, that's pretty impressive. So if Toronto's looking to add a little bit of offense on the D, some good moving, puck moving D, then Henry Muse may be a potential pick at that number 23 mark. But it remains to be seen. So now moving on. Leaf targets I put here. I'm going to talk about a few players that potentially could be there, and will they go for him? So the first one is the big D out of Czechia, Adam Jiricek. Yes, he's the brother of David Jiricek, who got drafted by Columbus a couple of years ago. And look at this. So he played in the men's league this past season, and before he got hurt, he was having a decent season. Now, he's more of a defensive defenseman, and like I said, he's 6'3", 180 pounds, so he's got some room for growth, but he is a great skater, and he's big, he's mobile, and he plays a defensive game. So he doesn't have that offensive upside. As you can see, he only had 1 point in 19 games, but definitely someone that should be on the radar for Toronto if he makes it to this pick. I think he's going to get picked before that, even with his injury. He got injured at the World Juniors early on and missed the entire rest of the season. So we didn't get to see him, down the stretch, which would have been nice. Anyways, all right, number 2. Now, another one. This is a forward, Sasha Boiver, out of the USHL. Now, he's a big kid. He's like a dependable two-way center, 6'2", 180 pounds. He had 68 points in 61 games in the USHL in his draft year, which is pretty decent. But I'm not sure if he's going to make it to this position either, if he's going to make it this high up the draft list. But he's definitely a player that could potentially, has a little bit of offensive upside. He's responsible in all 3 zones of the ice, and he's got good compete, and he's not afraid to muck it up in the corner. So you know what? If Sasha gets to 23, potential for this pick for Toronto. I think that, personally, I think that they should go with a D. And one of my personal favorites, and I think that he may be available at this 23 pick, and that is Alphonse Fry. And he had a great season in the Swedish Junior League, had 33 points in 40 games as a defenseman. He's 6'1", 190 pounds, and he had 6 points in 7 games at the U18s, like I said. And you know what? He was showing a maturity to his game playing against his peers. I think that he could be one. He's, like I said, he's big, he's mobile, he's got a little bit of offensive upside. So this might be, if he's available at 23, I'm saying that this might be the pick for Toronto. And that's just my personal opinion. I mean, let's hear what you think in the comment section. There could be some other players that might reach the 23 mark. And look, check out this goal right here. He sneaks in from the point and he just buries it top shelf. So he's got some nice hands. Like I said, his skating is really nice. You'll have to go look at the clips of Alphonse Fry. And so that's it. So let's hear what you think. Round 1, pick 23. Who do the Toronto Maple Leafs pick? And there's, like I said, a few players. This is Igor Chernyshov here in the highlights. And then we have Tarek Parasak bearing one here. But let me know what you think. And like I said, please subscribe. Head over to the community button and get on that mock draft. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see you soon. Cheers.